What up, guys? Dr. Vic, and this is the Mindful Experiment. Excited you're on, excited you're listening here with me as I'm going to be discussing something that's going to be pretty powerful, pretty pivotal, in my opinion, as I was just interviewed on a podcast, which I'll release as soon as the details come out. And one of the things we were talking about that I've talked about before on my podcast, I've shared many times with you guys, and I wanted to share in this episode as like a fresh reminder. And I'm going to go a little deeper into this study. I talked about this in my book. I talk about this on my mindset course online class. And I use this in a lot of different ways in my life. And that is the concept of intention. How you can, as an energy person, as a creator, you can truly transform anything around you and program it to a certain way to have a certain frequency or vibration to help affect you in your life some way, some shape, somehow. Now, this isn't voodoo. This isn't crazy stuff. This is true. It's been backed by science. It's supported by science. There's been experiments on this. I've done my own experiments on this, and it really, really works. Being a background in energy medicine, I learned this principle very quickly about the power of intention. I learned through my chiropractic care, I learned that when I do adjustments, it's not the adjustment that does anything. The adjustment has nothing to do with the healing process, helping the body heal, none of that. What happens is the intention of what I'm putting into the adjustment, my purpose, what I want to see for the patient or the individual I'm working with, and how to help them grow, expand, and evolve. It's the same thing I do with my clients and so much more. And through all my studies in energy medicine, I really started to understand that it's all about intention. But there was actually a study done to prove that. And in a study, when I was in chiropractic school, I used to teach about energy. I would show how energy was affected in all different ways. And I would use something called applied kinesiology. This is where you do muscle testing to test a muscle. And what we learned through that is that when you have a negative thought process or something of a low vibration come in, it actually will interfere with the function of the muscle. And so a lot of times they'll do it with the anterior deltoid. You can check the deltoid muscle in the front and you can test this. And things will get strong and weak. And you can tell if that's yeses and nos, right? This is a binary system you're using. You can do it with a hamstring, and there's other things you can do. I've learned through using it through my fingers if I'm doing testing. And then I use it in a different way, not muscle testing, but different types. But I've learned so many variables to this. And then I just chose the one that works best for me. And what's fascinating is it's a system that you can use, and it can detect vibrations. And if it's going to be benefiting the system, then you get a strong connection. If it's not going to benefit the system, you get a negative response or a weakened response. And so with this, one of the things that inspired me, but I used to teach this because I would share, I did this experiment where I'd have a group of people in a room, about 100 or so, and I would talk about energy, love, vibration, how we're all interconnected, how your thought process plays a huge role on things. And I wanted to prove it. So what I did is I would have 3 different individuals come up, right? They were taken out of the room. And what I was going to do is I was going to do number 1. I take that back. There was 3 situations that showed up, 1 individual. But I had the individual leave the room. They didn't know anything that was going to go on. So all I did was I programmed the room that I said, if I do this, number 1, I want you to send love to the person. And then number 2 would be, I want you to send hate to the person. And then number 3 is I want everybody in the room to do hate. And I pointed to one person and I said, see this as your mother and father's last day living. Now, I know it seems grim and harsh, but I wanted the love to come out, right? That love of the person and the appreciation and the thoughts of good moments and movement, right? And so what happened is on the first person, when I did number 1, we test the muscle, and they were hard. This person wasn't as big. I put a lot of weight on them, and I was showing people how much weight I was loading on that shoulder, and it was locked. It wasn't moving at all. So I said, wow, pretty cool, right, guys? So then I said, number 2, all of a sudden, we do the shoulder, it just dropped out. Didn't even hold. It tried for a second, and it shook, and it dropped, right? Less pressure. I did my pinky, right? First one, I'm doing 2 hands. Second one, I did a pinky, and I was able to drop it, okay? Then the third one, I looked, I said number 3, and then I looked at the one person, and all of a sudden it shook, and I kept looking at that person throwing the love, and then they got hard, and it held, right? Now, there's 2 points to this story. The first is you're affected by energy. The attention you put on things is going to create and manifest and program into what you want it to be. You can program things into love and beauty, and you can take that in. You can see yourself as love. Your body is made up about 70% water, give or take. And so if you put good vibes, you put good emotions behind that, you put good words and good, good higher vibrational emotions, thoughts about yourself, things like that, you raise all the molecular structures in your body to a higher vibration. If you see the opposite, you have an inner critic, you put yourself down, you experience more of the low vibrational frequencies, then you're going to bring yourself down and actually create more of a disharmony with everything, with the universe and yourself and everything like that. And what was fascinating, the second point though, is what I was trying to show is no matter how much hate's around you, if you just trust in love, because that's what we really are, unconditional love, that is the most powerful thing that could transform the world. And I learned this study because I read a book called Power versus Force that transformed my life by Dr. David Hawkins. And don't get that confused with Dr. Stephen Hawkins. But Dr. David Hawkins did a plethora of studies on conscious vibration. And he doesn't call it conscious vibration. He just calls it the consciousness. And he was able to figure out conscious levels of different things. I just called it vibration because it made more sense to me that way. But that's not his work is more of just consciousness and measuring. But it was one of the things where he talks about how, like Jesus, who came to this planet, or Krishna, or Buddha, they are the highest vibrational beings that ever walked this planet. They're all at the same level 1,000 on his scale. And I love this about this because I learned this. What fascinated me was I learned that the human body can only hold a certain amount of vibration. The nervous system can handle so much, and then that's it. It can't take on anymore. And then I read his book, and it said that, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. And so what I learned from that, though, is one avatar, which is 1,000, can balance out all the negativity in the world, right? And then I think it's like 115? I forget the numbers, guys. So apologize. I haven't read this book in a while, but I think it was like it's 700 is another vibration, like Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Mother Teresa, those individuals. That vibrational frequency, if you have, I think like 15 of them, that can balance out, or I think it's 100 of them. But the point I'm trying to make is the power of love can override many. And so it's what love do you give to yourself? What perspective are you looking within yourself, right? How are you being intentional in your day? Or are you more of just going into the routine of things, right? Are you controlling your days and dictating how you want it to go and putting your energy out there? Or are you allowing the world and the chaos to dictate you? Because one thing I have learned in life is that if you don't set the intention for your day, because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And the reason why that's so true in so many ways is because when you look at your life, okay, there's a vibrational frequency of the human collective consciousness. And right now, it's not looking good. It's not bright, okay? That's okay, though. This is where growth can come from. But if you don't get intentional with your days, what ends up happening is you take the vibrational frequency of the human collectiveness, your town, your state, the state, your country you're in. What ends up happening is that's going to be taking over you. And then you're going to get followed into the experience of that. That's why so many people, when things that are on states of uncertainty happen, this is why so many people fall into that category. Now, you can take this as truth or not, but I'll tell you this. Why is it that the most multi-billionaires, the most billionaires in the world, their portfolio, their net worth has massively grown in the last 6 to 7 months? They know this concept. They understand this concept. Okay? And the key is you can use this concept and same thing in your life to transform it. But you have to get intentional with your day. You have to set the page. That's why there's no rules in life except the ones you create. There are no rules in life except the one you create. That'll be my next book. Look out, it's coming out. 6 months from now, I'm getting that done. But that is the key to life. There are no rules in life except the one you create. So get intentional with your days. I don't care what the next day is going to look like. I don't care how uncertainty is going to happen in your life. It doesn't matter. You can make it seem like it's scary and bad, and you can create that, and you can see it, and your mind's going to back you up and say, okay, you're saying it's scary. You're saying it's like this. Well, now my job is to prove that to you, right? I got to keep showing you that that threat's there. But the same programming neurologically that works that way is the same way the opposite. If you look at it from a different perspective, that's why the coaching clients I've been working with have been thriving. This is not something of my just trying to throw lies out there and BS. I'm not that type of guy because we share these principles. You got to get intentional with your day. And they've been intentional since and seeing how it's going to be, right? They're setting the water to the vibration of what they want to experience. There are no rules in life except the ones you create. right? So they look at this and they go, wow, I have clients that have transformed careers in this time, okay? Made a shift, and they can't believe how things are working. Things are clicking. Things are moving forward, right? It's because, again, you have to get intentional with your day. Set the tone of what you want to have. Now, I'm not going to say it's always going to work. That's a lie too. You don't just set it and attend it and it's all going to be the way you wanted it to. The universe has other plans for you too. It knows what's best for you. But at least you're setting the tone. And I will tell you, about 80, 90% of the time, even higher sometimes, it's going to be that. It's going to be that way you want it to be. So take that time. Be intentional with your day. You can transform your life if you get more intentional and set the tone. What is it you want to see? How do you want to see it? Put the emotions behind it. You don't believe me? Look at the water experiment. It takes it all into perspective. They've done it with music, or read that Power versus Force. It's very similar in that way. Those two books are interconnected. They're looking at two different perspectives of consciousness or vibrational frequencies and things like that. But the technology, one is assessing it and one's showing you actually the studies. And it's been fascinating. They've done studies on this with plants, and they took two plants together. One kept saying love, and they say love, I love you, and all this. And the other plant, they kept saying, I hate you, you hope you die, all these other things. In 4 days, and they are all fed the same nutrition, same water, same everything. One plant thrived, the other one was wilting. 4 days. Within a week, it was already halfway to losing its life. The power of intention. Okay? We are powerful programmers. We are alchemists. And so it's one of the things where we can change and transform things in many different ways, shapes, or forms. So be intentional. Set up your days, see how you want to live your day, see how you want to make it happen, and stand behind it knowing it's going to happen that way. And like I said, most of the time it will. You'll notice there's a little tweak here or a tweak there. Just look at the universe and laugh, because it's always there to help support you. And know every step of the way that you can transform and dictate your life however you want, because there are no rules in life except the ones you create. I can tell you that from my own life experiences. I can tell you that from the life experiences of my clients. And I can also tell you that from the life experiences of people I've interviewed. So keep rocking and rolling. I appreciate you tuning in as we wrap this up. As always, one of the things, if you have not grabbed a copy of my book, A Walk in the Dark, this talks a lot about these things. Talks about intentionality. It talks about how the darkness is your best friend. It talks about how to shift perspective and how to see these things as a great thing, because everything I help with my clients is because of the book. A Walk in the Dark is what helps. I'm using the principles there to help them transform their life. And so with that being said, there are things that you can get. You can get the first 3 chapters for free. Just go to my website, empoweryourreality.com. You'll see that in the middle of the page, of the homepage, and you can go ahead, put at the bottom of it, You can go there, go ahead and put your name and email, hit subscribe. You'll get a link to you, and we'll go ahead and get the first 3 chapters PDF form to you, so you can enjoy and get started, because all the good stuff happens on 4, 5, 6. So, but you at least get a little teaser. Anyhow, as always, appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, keep rocking and rolling.